Hello, we're up to day 4 of Cup Week. Flemington Carnival is coming to a close as we draw in Stakes Day. It's now the Championships days. I welcome in Andrew Hawkins. Great to have you here, mate.
Oh, it's good to be with you again.
It's been great to catch up with you this week.
It has, hasn't it? I mean, that's
been too long.
It's been like Melbourne Cup Carnival, hasn't it? It's been a chance to be able to actually see people again, and it feels like it's been forever. It's been 3 years since
it has
seeing
been
a lot of,
3 years.
but it feels like it's been forever, and it's great to have that opportunity to connect with people again from Australia and around the world.
Yeah, well, you travel every second week, mate, so you're used to it. But us in Melbourne, we haven't
isolated.
been out much for 2 years, so it is really good. What a huge week! How are you faring? You tired? You
exhausted?
Fatigued? Yeah.
Exhausted.
Are you as exhausted as Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace? You saw them. We're recording this on Wednesday night.
So
you saw them today.
I've seen them
How
today.
are they faring after their cup win?
I think the comment from Kieran Maher is the horses pulled up better than the trainers, and I think that's probably a fair comment. They're a bit croaky. I don't know if they've slept much, but
Probably
you know
not.
what? If I was in their position, I'd be the same. I'd be enjoying it for everything it's worth.
Yep.
I mean, the strapper, who is Mitch Connors, who's the son of Mark Connors and the grandson of Clary Connors, so very much a racing
Yes,
family. He was in bed early last night, and he was there at 3:30 this morning. So
Wow.
you know,
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it, and congratulations to him. But no, Kieran and David, they were absolutely loving life, and why wouldn't you?
Congratulations to my mate Glenn Ingram as well. He's worked with Betfair. Huge for high emotion around 30. I spoke to him today, and he didn't sleep all that much. He had a quiet night. He was home early, but he's just excited. Took him a while to settle. So good on him.
You know
Huge
what?
run.
If I was as him, again, congratulations, Glenn. That was a phenomenal run. Really, the way that she savaged the line, you just have to go, wow.
It was amazing.
It was. I mean, you know, no matter whether it was a good Melbourne Cup or it wasn't, or what have you.
Yep.
The fact that you can see a horse finishing off like that, I mean, that's what you love to see. And, I mean, she may not have won, but she definitely won plenty of admirers, that's for sure.
Huge run. I don't know how Mara and Eustace do it. It's an incredible effort to get those two to run so well on the big day. They peak on grand final day for sure. Let's get to the lay-bin, Hawk. Obviously, we're probably tired and grumpy come this stage of the week. There's going to be plenty of lays next week, I'll tell you what, when we're grumpy. But the size of your laptop, that's the first lay. You borrowed Carl's laptop. It's the biggest laptop in the history of the world.
It is, isn't it? I'm trying to peek over it. I'm trying to see this little laser tag cup that is here, and I can't really see it. You know, it's the closest I'm going to get to any trophy this week, but, you know, it's like trying to reach over a giant brick wall here.
I don't know. I don't want to know what Carl's watching on that big screen, but he's in lay-bin. Now, Cup Day.
Yeah.
You had a winner. It may have paid a very big price, and we'll get to that in a minute. Highclere, Bartholomew Dias, you were on the show. I'm still waiting for the text. The fans are still waiting for your
apologies.
Your message through, tipping it to us at 50s or 60s or whatever it was. We saw you celebrating in the yard again, and we come in here on Wednesday. You've had a fill up, and I'm left in the lurch.
Well, look,
thought we were friends, mate.
We are friends.
You're in the lay bin.
To be frank, we were looking in.
You bought yourself some new shoes too. Well done.
I did. I couldn't bring the Jonas again. That was, and the reason I'm borrowing Carl's laptop is my laptop would have ended up in the lay bin because it is an absolute wreck. It's broken in 5 different ways. So, thanks, Carl, for allowing me to use the laptop. But no, look, with Bart. Look, he's a decent little horse, but he just needs everything to go right. He's a bit of an enigma. I'm proud of the fact he managed to win that race because.
Did you have something on?
A little bit. The thing is that we had
that makes me filthier.
Well, we had a chat about it a couple of months ago with Annabelle.
I wonder why you said it a good day.
Well, it was an okay day. It would have been nicer if Smoke and Romans had won, but
of course.
We were talking about this race a couple of months ago and saying, with the 5 diamonds in Sydney, it might just cut up. He'd won at Flemington before, but the proviso was we wanted to run him on a good track or at least a soft 5. As the rain was falling yesterday, we actually talked about, do we take him out? Do we scratch him?
Amazing.
And in the end, we decided, no, look, may as well give him his go. Tommy rode him great.
Good win.
It was a good win. He's that sort of horse, though. I think he's an 8-year-old, and we're only just figuring him out now. He's been tried over staying trips. He came here with 2-mile form from the UK. He doesn't see out 1.5 miles. He barely sees out 10 at 2,000 metres. He's a genuine miler, 1,800-metre, fresh horse. And I think now that we found the key to him, we might get 6 months of being able to enjoy that before he retires. But he's a stakes winner now, and you would never have thought it going back 18 months ago.
Well done, mate. Congratulations. You got anything for the lay-bin or?
Look, I'm going to put in Kieran Maher and David Eustace, but not for the reason that everyone's thinking. As you said, I saw them today, and they were talking there with the media. And I'll put Kieran in. I'll keep David out because, look, they're both great guys. But Kieran was asked, who does he think is going to win the 2023 Cup from his stable? He said Smoke and Romans. I'm going to be...
You're against that. You're laying Smoke and Romans.
Well, I'm going to be filthy. I was on him this year and nothing to show for it. And if he comes out and wins next year,
exactly right.
I'm going to be crying into my beer there.
What did you make, just quickly, before we move on, what did you make of the Melbourne Cup? Obviously, you tipped Smoke and Romans. I couldn't have had Gold Trip in a million years. The way he ran the 10th fastest final 200 metres Caulfield Cup, he didn't exactly savage the line. He's gone from 2,400 up to 2 mile and one like far lap. I did not see that coming. And yeah, what do you make of it?
Well, I was thinking when he raced to the front at the 300 metres, he had an emissary chasing.
You thought emissary was going to run past it?
Well, yes, I did. Well. Yes and no. I thought something was going to run past. I didn't think Emissary would. I didn't think he'd see out the trip either. But nothing was coming. I've been taught so many times, do not sack horses on something that they haven't done. And I should take that. I should learn to take that advice.
That's good advice. I had this chat with Dave Striddler about wet track form.
Yeah.
Do you mark them if they haven't raced on a wet track? How do you know they don't get through it?
And that's it. And it's the same with 2 miles. You just don't know. It's a different dynamic. Obviously, this was the first time this spring that we've seen one of these features run at a decent tempo, especially with Knight's Order.
I love the tactics.
It was fantastic. Yep. No, you know what? It was great to see them try something, especially once Knight's Order didn't muster. Wasn't first past the post the first time around, which I think many people thought either he or Serpentine would be. It was Smoke and Romans in front first time around. And so I think that once that pressure was applied, it really changed the dynamic of the race. And we saw, different tactics come to the fore. We saw different horses' strengths come to the fore than what we've seen. If you'd asked me at the 400 metres, would Gold Trip run this out? I would have said no. But he proved me wrong.
The stable do it again.
They do. And look, congratulations. He was the right form horse. I wasn't worried about the weight. I wasn't worried about anything. He was bringing the right form lines. It was just that 3,200 metres that made me want to take him on. But for the second year in a row, the eventual winner, I've had 7th in my predictions. So maybe
back to 7th next year.
Back to 7th next year, I think, is the idea.
There you go. Well, let's get to Champions Day. Rail, we're thinking might be in the 2 metre position, but we're not sure. 3 unbelievable Group 1s and 3 stars of the turf engaged on a great day. We've got Nature Strip, Anamoe, who is a champion in his own right. And then we've got Cascadian, Private Eye, Alligator Blood, My Oberon in the Champions Mile. It's a brilliant, brilliant day. We'll focus on the 3 features. I don't know if you've done any other form, but the 3 features, the Champions Sprint, 1,200 metres, race 6 on the card. Unbelievable race. It's as good as the Everest. Obviously, we've got the Everest winner in Giga Kick here and then the Everest favourite in Nature Strip. Which way are you leaning?
It's a great race, as you say. It's fantastic to see so many different form lines represented. It's good to see that Manicato form represented through the likes of Bella Nipotina.
Won extremely well to put her case forward here.
She was huge. Levante, who we saw come over for the Newmarket, and Rock on Horse, who we know so good down the straight. Lofty Strike coming from the Coolmore. So we're actually going to see a real championship race here. We get to see all of these horses from these different form lines converge, and it's going to be a cracking race. For me, Nature Strip's the one to beat. I don't think there's anything surprising about that. He's so good down the straight. We've seen him time and time again come off these performances. I think the only query people had going into the Everest was that he was second up, and his second up form wasn't quite as strong as it had been.
He wasn't really second up as
and that was what I always said to people was that in my mind he was coming off that England campaign.
Wasn't a long winter.
It wasn't a long winter. Second up, and that was to anyone who said that to me. I said before the race, well,
it's different.
Again, it's different.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if he'd been able to get on the track, he probably wins. It was a very good run. I mean, he's been beaten less than a length after being wide all the way in a high pressure race. Giga Kick. Having the last shot at him, and obviously in that good form. We saw Buenos Noches frank his form when running well in the Coolmore last week. Yep. Private Eye coming out with that sensational win. We'll talk about him in a moment. Marzu as well, running very well last week in the Nature Strip Stakes. To me, it's all about Nature Strip here, but if something else can put their hand up, it's going to be exciting for the next 12 months.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what to make of the Nature Strip run in the Everest. On first look, you saw Eduardo drop out, and everyone was saying they must have gone really quickly. Eduardo pulled up lame. You look at the sectionals; they went 1.4 lengths faster than benchmark to the 600, and 2.1 lengths home. So they didn't exactly go breakneck speed. I know he was trapped deep, but he was obviously run down. I thought it was a little bit disappointing based on the time and data, but he probably wasn't on the track. Now, just on this, Black Caviar won this in 2010, this race. That was her first Group 1 victory.
That's right,
Obviously,
it was
we know what she went on to do. Redzel in the first ever Everest won the double, so won the Everest into this, and Giga Kick's looking to replicate that. Nature Strip won this race last year as well, obviously. Giga Kick meets Nature Strip half kilo worse at the weights for that win. I'm with Nature Strip here. I think he started a short price favourite for a reason. He's the best sprinter in the world. I think he's entitled to come up favourite. It's just about price. 250, 260 I could take. He's pretty short now. So I think he's clearly the horse to beat. It's a great race. I can't wait for it. You're happy to take Nature Strip at the price?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to me, as I say, it's one of these races where Nature Strip's the bet, but I'd love to see something step up and really challenge him and stamp themselves as a possible future star. And there are any number of them here that could do that.
I couldn't take even money, but if he gets out at 250, I'm happy to have a bet on
Absolutely.
Nature Strip. Giga Kick, obviously, star horse undefeated. Bellini Patinas adds a lot of interest here. Obviously, it was fantastic last start in the Manikato when it was run Saturday, race at 11 on Cox Plate Day. She's gone to another level.
She has.
Straight tracks query?
It is. I mean, Nature Strip had, 3.5 lengths or so on her last year in this race, or I think it was closer to 4 lengths. And so for me, that is a query. I think the other query too, I think she clearly flies on that ground that she got the other day. I mean, I don't think she's terrible on top of the ground, but she clearly relished that ground she got at Moonee Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, she's now 3 from 5 on heavy tracks. On good and soft tracks, I think she's 3 from 27 or something like that. So for me, especially if it does continue to improve, which the forecast suggests it will, I think she's going to have to find a little bit to challenge Nature Strip. But that win last time was very, very good.
Sounds like you're more against her. Keen to lay her at the price there,
Absolutely.
about that $7 mark. I don't disagree with you there. All right. I hope you can have a strong opinion here in the Champions Mile, because I've got no idea. Race 7, 1,600 metres, great race. Absolutely superb race. You've got Private Eye off a fantastic Nature Strip Stakes win. Cascadian's airborne. You've got 2 horses from the Cox Plate, Alligator Bud, Mr. Brightside racing well. Tuvalu off a win, and My Oberon smashed the clock. Huge win, 3 deep, Moonee Valley last start when probably not even wound up. Airborne, I found it very tricky. Which way are you leaning?
Look, I think personally, Cascadian is flying.
Yes.
Absolutely flying. That win over Numerian and Montefilia was massive in the Hill Stakes. We saw both of them come out and run terrific races in the Caulfield Cup.
Yes. Came from a long way back too. It was a huge win.
It was tremendous. I think that was, in my mind, a career peak for him.
Yep.
Even though he's a Group 1 winner, that was just sensational. The Craven Plate, okay, only beat Just Folk, who was second to Bartholomew Diaz. Is that the right form? Well, Just Folk was giving Bartholomew Diaz 5 kilos on Tuesday. So Promido disappointing when he went to the Spring Champion at his next start. So potentially more of a query there. But I feel like Cascadian, the way he's going, I find it hard to go against him. I know Private Eye was very, very good last week. Private Eye at a mile, he's 2 from 3 at a mile. Alligator Blood's going to love getting back to the mile. Mr. Brightside's going to love getting back to the mile. You've got horses, as you said, like Tuvalu, My Oberon, even Aegon coming off that win at Caulfield. So it is a cracking race. And even a horse like Colding getting back on top of the ground, was a long way back last time, but getting up to a mile suits. But for me, I'm all about Cascadian here. I think Cascadian's going to get the right run. From 11, I think he's going to be in the right spot, especially if they're swooping.
Yes.
And
I think they're getting wider.
Exactly. And I think that's the way James McDonald's riding at the moment as well. To me, Cascadian. The other thing too, when this race was a handicap, which has been changed away for age this year, he's been beaten in this race 3 times by less than half length.
Yeah. You look at his. You go through his track record, and he hasn't had a win from 7 starts, which is amazing. But he's run some unbelievable races.
It's a matter of time, and
He's
I think
second in McKinnon behind Zaki.
Yeah.
He's third in a Cantala, obviously, last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and as I say, I think he's been. I'm just going to pull it up here because when you look at the stats of him in the Cantala, and especially he's carried quite a bit of weight in the Cantala the last couple of years.
And second to Yulong Prince in 2020.
So was third beaten 0.3 lengths behind Fierce Impact in 2019. As you say, in 2020, beaten 0.2 lengths by Yulong Prince. And then in
Fierce
2021...
Impact beat him by 0.3 of a length in 2019.
And so there you go. And then, Superstorm last year by 0.2. So, it's only a matter of time before he gets that Flemington 1,600-metre win. And in the form he's in, I think this is the race. If ever there was a race that was ready-made for him, it's this race.
Hawkins, very keen. Andrew on number 3 there, race 7, number 3. I really struggle with this race because I have a huge opinion. I think Private Eye's gone on another level. Now, he ran second behind Alligator Blood in the Stradbroke, meets that horse 2 kilos better at the weights, maps well, Private Eye, Cascadian's airborne. Then you got My Oberon, who was reportedly, Annabelle Neesham said he probably wasn't wound up and fit, 3/4 fit, with this being probably the aim. Come out, sat 3 wide and won very well, but does tie into Banker's Choice. So, but I loved it, My Oberon. I backed him and made him my best in the program on layback with Betfair before that Cox Plate day.
One thing I will say, just because I didn't give you the Bartholomew Diaz tip.
Here we go.
My Oberon galloped with Bartholomew Diaz at Werribee the other day.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashed him.
There you go. There's some mail for you.
So My Oberon.
But you're still with Cascadian.
Yeah, I'm still with Cascadian. But My Oberon blinkers on first time as well.
Looks the target.
This has definitely been the race. It's the right race for him. Look, I couldn't put you off if you're backing My Oberon.
I just don't want to be against My Oberon. So, I found it very hard to be keen on this race. All right, let's get to the Champion Stakes, 2,000 metres, race 8 on the program. Another sensational Group 1 race. It's basically Cox Plate field again. We've got I'm Thunderstruck taking on Anamoe. Mwanga was fantastic. Zaki stuck on okay in a Cox Plate. Wow, what a race. Anamoe's an out-and-out star of the turf. He's a champion. He's won Group 1s as 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old. He's won Cox Plates. He arguably should have won last year's Cox Plate. Is he just the go-to selection for you in the Champion Stakes, mate?
I've been waiting for him to get to Flemington.
Have you?
Since as a 2-year-old, I've thought he would be the type who would just absolutely relish Flemington. And I think his last 2 starts down here in Melbourne have really shown, have really led to me to think that that's even more so the case. He obviously got unbalanced there at Caulfield. The fact that he managed to win the Caulfield Stakes was a tremendous effort because the way that he got off stride there, he was entitled to lose that race. He was very good again at Moonee Valley, but he still looked, to my eye, to not quite be 100% right there.
Yep.
And I know that quite a few people who I trust as form analysts said he looked a half run short. He looks like he just is going to be turning up to Flemington.
Scary.
It is. Well, yeah. Absolutely, it's scary. And I think this is the race. This is the race. As I say, if I'm Thunderstruck was in the mile, I think I'd be very keen on him. And I think he's fine at 2,000 metres. I think he's proven that now. I think anyone who had those stamina queries would probably be saying no, he's fine. But I think Anamoe at this trip at Flemington, really excited to see what he can do.
There you go, Hawkins with Andrew with the Cox Plate winner, number 7, Anamoe on top. I've lent the way of Thunderstruck just at the price. One's 210, 220, one's 450. I'm Thunderstruck meets Anamoe 1 kilo better for that Cox Plate run. Obviously ties in. I thought he's been fantastic. Flemington record's fantastic. He ran the fastest 12, 10, 8, 6, 4 and 2 of the Cox Plate. He charged late. It was a really good run. 6th fastest final 200 metres of the day, if you don't mind, Hawkins. Hawk over 2040. It's a huge run. I think he's going really well. At the odds, I'm happy to be with I'm Thunderstruck. I think the big track suits. I like the fact that he's drawn 8. I think it's a perfect barrier for him. He can wind up down the outside, blend into the race at Flemington and come with a big run. And if Anamoe's over the top or had enough, or if there's any doubts, I think I'm Thunderstruck's there to win. So he's the way old side.
Just a quick question though, what do you make of these other form lines of like the 3-year-olds coming through and also the New Zealand form as well?
Anyone who watches this show and listens to me on SEN or whatnot, I really like looking for different form lines,
Mm.
especially when they're all intertwined. I think, go looking for different form lines. I just struggled to do that here. I
Yeah.
think the Cox Plate form, we've seen the Melbourne Cup winner come through it.
No,
Pretty handy form.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing when I was looking at it. I'd love to have found the 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Still not convinced that the 3-year-olds are as a
good?
group, a strong group. I mean that
Everyone said when they were 2-year-olds they weren't strong, and then they come out with 3-year-olds and they're mixing form. There's no standout. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's and then I look at a horse like Mustang Valley, who's sort of come across. She's come from nowhere. She was midfield in a lot of their 3-year-old races over in New Zealand last season. Finished second to Le Creek, who I was disappointed by in the Empire Rose. I thought she should have been winning that Empire Rose Le Creek.
Yeah.
And but that said, she won the Livermore Classic Mustang Valley, beating Defibrillate by 6 lengths, and Defibrillate won a Group 3 over in New Zealand yesterday. A horse that we know quite well over here.
Yep.
I think the Cox Plate form's the right form, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this race. It's going to be a great race.
They're the features. I'll ask you your best bet on the program in a minute, Hawk. But just a couple of bits of data. Your horse, Bartholomew Diaz, $54 on Cup Day, BSP. Huge. Hit 67s in play shortly after jump.
Actually, he would be a great in-play horse, Bartholomew Diaz, because he always is out the back. He's always, and that's the way he has to be ridden. He has to be. I think Tommy Berry put it yesterday. He's a momentum horse. You've just got to let him roll into it. And yeah, if you try to put him into the race early, he just doesn't respond.
So huge overlay compared to corporates as well. There, Bartholomew Diaz. It was a bloodbath for many punters on Cup Day, Hawk. BSP average was $25, if you don't mind. So the bookies had the lot there. Before we get to best bets, I want to just ask you about market intelligence. We see and we advise people to watch Betfair Late, Betfair Live. I love watching the markets, and it's something that I've changed the way I bet in the last 3 to 5 years compared to back previously. I bet late. I use as much info as I can until they jump, and I bet late generally. How do you find market intelligence? Are you backing firmers, drifters? Are you looking for certain things?
I think it's a key factor. I think it's one of those factors that you like to see, that market confidence and that intelligence coming through, because clearly you are seeing a push from somewhere. Now, again, they may sometimes be misguided, but at least you know that there is market confidence there. Now, do I get off if there is a significant drifter? Not always, but it is always a cause for concern, and it makes me then reassess what am I doing, where am I looking, and I think it is a crucial factor. I think Betfair is one of those tools that is so important to any bettor, especially if you are betting into the exchange. But if you're on track, it's fantastic to watch just to see how the market's reacting and how the market's responding. And I think that's the thing. The markets in general are moved by what's happening on Betfair. So I think it's very, very critical, and it allows any bettor to be able to actually have that ability there to see what's happening live, to be able to react and respond. And to me, it's just absolutely critical.
Yeah. Now, we've seen last carnival, like the likes of Espiona absolutely smashed on the fair. We saw Hitotsu smashed in the Derby. Fangirl was well supported. They all came out and won extremely well. There's certain things that I look for. If a horse is drifting, generally I like to know why they're drifting. So they might be debutants. They might not have the data, because a lot of the data guys, they might not have run time, but they might have been trialling the house down. So you often find horses that are trialling well or new or haven't got the body of work in terms of data, they get taken on by the market. And I often bet the drift with those type of horses. If I saw something that improved 4 or 5 lengths off a trial prior to last campaign, the market probably hasn't caught up to that data a lot of the times. So they might be willing to take it on and might get out to a silly price and you back the drift. Obviously, I do a lot of work with trials, so stuff like that. Map, if there's bias in maps, you just set your price. Obviously, late in the day, if there's pattern and stuff, horses can drift, and because of simple things like maps. So you just got to be aware of why horses are drifting.
And I think that's so crucial. As you say, it's a tool. It's not the be all and end all. And as you say, if you can identify why a horse is firming or why they're drifting, it then helps to be able to figure out, okay, if there is an unexpected firm or drift, then you go looking for what's the reason for this, and often that's where you'll you'll get your biggest advantage from following betters, from following firmers or drifters through Betfair.
I like Promise of Success on Tuesday. She drifted and probably solely because she drew inside. It wasn't the place to be. That's why she drifted. It's not because she might have paraded barely. She wasn't off or...
And that's the way it proved in the run. She was down in the inferior part of the track,
Correct.
And that was all she wrote.
So you just got to be smart. That's why I bet late. So that's a little piece on market intelligence. Hawk, just repeat your best bets on Stakes Day or Champions Day. Who are you with in the 3 features, and any other bets?
In the 3 features, Champion Sprint, Nature Strip for me. I think he's an out-and-out champion. I think we'll get to see him prove that case there, which we already knew anyway, but good to see him win the first Champion Sprint under the new moniker. Cascadian, I really, really like him in the Champions Mile. In the Champions Stakes, for me, it is all about Anamoe. Again, they're 3 horses that are going to be well found by the market, but they're 3 horses that I think are deservedly so found by the market. Elsewhere on the card,
Tough day.
It is. Now, I didn't
tell me you found something.
Well, I didn't give you Bartholomew Diaz the other day.
Here we go.
Highclere does have great house running in the Queen's Cup. I've had actually quite a few messages from people going, "Why did you pull him out of the Lexus the Archer the other day?" And look, Chris Waller, genius. He makes all the decisions. We have very little input, and you wouldn't want to have that input. He knows what he's doing.
Reckon he knows a bit more about training horses than you.
Oh,
mate.
Anyone does, but Chris Waller especially.
Yeah.
But look, he's a horse that has struggled a little bit on softer ground. We saw that in the Caulfield Cup, and so they decided to wait a week, hoping that the track would improve. He did gallop last week with Solcombe at Flemington. They breakfast with the stars, and to me, just completely outworked Solcombe. Solcombe is the favourite here, coming off that run in the Melrose. It was a win in the Melrose Handicap at York. I think there's a lot of good judges tipping Solcombe. He's very, very short at the moment. I think from when I last had a look, he was 2.8 or so on Betfair. And I must say, you'd be mad to let Great House go around without you if you are backing Solcombe. So
there you go.
Make sure to have something
Solid
on Great
push.
House.
Race 4, number 4, Great House, maybe each way play on betfair.com.au for
Absolutely.
Hawk. I found it very tough. Nature Strip for me in the Champions Sprint. No idea in the Champions Mile. I love my Oberon. He's one of mine now, but I don't want to be against him here, and I don't really want to be against against the others either. So it's very tough. I'm Thunderstruck. I think it's better value in the Champion Stakes, the Group 1 over 2,000 metres. I think that's all, mate. Be a huge week. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, look, it's been great to be down here. Great to be with you, and I'm sure we'll be doing this again soon, hopefully finding the Melbourne Cup winner next year.
I'm sure you'll get an invite next year, mate, but maybe in the autumn you can come down and keep me company again. That'd be brilliant.
Well, it's good. I'm not having to wait 12 months. Only 6 months, even better.
Correct. We'll get you back as soon as we can. Thanks for joining us on Layback with Betfair. Hope you've had a massive week, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.